Is this a must-win?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hell, to me, every game is, but obviously, I mean, 3-4. As I've said, a lot of seasons left, but the first start to be able to say that confidently is getting back even, especially right having a couple home ones after that. Yeah.
The interceptions haven't piled up on you very often in your career. When they do, what does it do to your mindset? Does it change anything? Does it make you not want to push too hard, put too much pressure on yourself? How do you look at it?
Uh, I've got to be better. Simple as that. Take it for how it is. Look at those plays independently. Look at the other ones that probably could have been, or you know what I mean, could have turned out a different way than they did. But you're never gonna knock my confidence. Some of it, majority of it is decision. So I go back and I guess a couple years ago and I risk versus reward, and that's something that just watching the film this week is just heavy on my mind. And I think from that comes, being able to, as I've said, get out of the pocket, make other plays happen when you're weighing that risk. It's when I've got the ball in my hands, it's not just about that play. It's about the team, the game, the momentum of it, and I've just got to be better.
You mentioned running. There's been a lot made about the fact that you're at a historical low level in terms of using your mobility to run the football. You've talked about doing it a couple times in the recent weeks. Why hasn't that happened yet, or do you still think you have something to add in that dimension?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think I've got something to add in it. I don't know what's been made of it, but yeah, I mean, just top of my head, I know I haven't been running, whether it's been the scrambles or not. A couple of play calls that could potentially be that way, just haven't had the read. So, hell, did it one time and it wasn't the read. So, in that sense, it just happens from within the pocket, filling the game. I think that's to my point is the risk versus reward, pulling some of these things down, being better in the pocket, and then getting out and making something happen.
Physically, do you feel like you're
For
able
sure,
to run?
1,000%.
Rather than doing the same thing and just hoping for different results, is there things you can do differently, whether it's tempo or something to just kind of jumpstart things offensively?
Yeah, for sure. Excited about this game plan. Think we've got a great one in the making. Now it's about for us just locking in, being focused to it, and going out there and not only implementing it but executing it to the way that we want to.
Dak, when you go back and you look at the film against Pittsburgh, you got the ball, you go down the field, you guys were able to get it done. San Francisco now. What do you take from those two drives, and if you give them the opportunity of Atlanta, how do you finish it off?
Yeah, I got to get a completion early, first or second down. Get you right out of a 3rd and 10, which then leads to the 4th and 10. Get a completion early, maybe even in those cases, right? This past case, being above the 2-minute warning, getting a run in, just to get something positive going. I think we do that. Getting the momentum going, where everybody feels better about that next play, and get one first down, and then after that, you're rolling in 2-minute drive usually.
Given what you said about your awareness of risk-reward, the Falcons do have two safeties who are
Great
among the
players
best in the game at taking the ball away. How does that affect your decision-making or your level of awareness?
Yeah, just being aware where they are. Great, as you said, ball-hawking guys who've been around for a while. Veterans know how to read concepts. I've played against this defense a bunch, I guess you can say, and just the scheme point, understanding they're going to have vision on me, but giving me things underneath, doing that, and then when they come up, take advantage of it, being able to move them with my eyes. But it starts with having awareness where Bates and Simmons both are. Is Simmons playing?
To help you is to get the running
he
game
is?
going.
Okay, go ahead.
Mike said one of the best ways to help you is to get the running game going. How much faith do you have that you guys can kind of get it going and keep it going?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of faith in it. There was times in last week's game, obviously, where it looked really, really good. Had got it going. I think it's about finding those plays that we had or what we do best in it. And you know what I mean? And whether it's the sub or whether it's the big people, whichever way that we want to attack it, getting to that and doing more of that, and just putting the pressure on the defense and playing to our strengths. So good week of that. As I said, I'm excited for this game plan and the way that we've got it dialed up.
How much liberty do you have at the line of scrimmage to change out of plays, and does that change depending on start of game, end of game? How does that work for you?
Yeah, it depends on the call. Depends on, you know what I mean, I guess you can even say the personnel. Depends more so than anything on what the defense is giving me. I can't say there's been too many times that I've needed to get out of something to get to that. The few times I've done it, I think it's more about us just executing.
You talked about how great communication was last week, and then Mike said early in the game in the script You had mistakes, communication mistakes on plays 4, 5, 6, and 7. How does that happen, and how do you eliminate those?
It starts when the guy makes the ID. They're up front, whether it's the quarterback or the center. It's the other 5 or 6 guys who have to make calls, all get on the same page, understanding that the guy to the right and the left knows what call you're making, that therefore you can execute the block that you have to. So it's a little bit further than the center and myself at times. Guys just have to communicate it out. Never assume, never guess. Over-communicate has kind of been the message this week.
Getting back to the rushing, and I know it's not a purposeful thing if you're not trying to run, but how crazy is it that you have less rushing yards than Aaron Rodgers and Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco, who just started?
Dude, you're funny. It's bad. It's bad, man. It's bad.
Isn't that just a crazy stat?
It is. A lot of stats are crazy. Yeah, bad.
I think they threw Brady in there in his last year.
I'm just saying, so some of this stuff should just be natural, I guess, from a guy who was a runner in college and has been used his legs for much of his career.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's just not been organic part of your game this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's something that I don't want to say you have to practice it, but you got to kind of put it in your mind in that sense and not necessarily, prepare, I'm going to run. But when I talk about the risk versus reward, getting out here at practice, it's practice. You want to, try to make every throw or, thread the needle, this and that. And it's, at times, that's my point of just putting in my head risk versus reward, creating something else. That one's not there, getting out of the pocket. And then from there, right, defense backs turn, 6 yards adds up, over time. And I'm sure that's the only way those guys are ahead of me. So it's not like they're running the read option.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
It's part of it too. You're chasing something bigger in the passing game too that you might not notice that I got a lane to run up to get 5 or 6 yards.
You're asking or telling me?
Masking.
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, I think it all plays in together. It all plays in together. I mean, I think protection, I think those guys would say, right, we looked in some of those games where they haven't been great, you know what I mean? Those run lanes quite weren't there. And then other games they are. So it's about me being able to play the plays independently, the games independently. And as I said, just putting it in my mind that, yeah, right, first versus certain coverages as well. If I can get out or beat one guy around the edge, then therefore, yeah, there's a lot of green grass on the other side and positive, just staying ahead of the chains. And so, yeah.
Did you and CD find something in the second half? You seemed to connect better in the fourth quarter of that game than probably at any moment all year.
Yeah, I found CD. He did a good job of getting open, running all of his routes hard, no matter where he was, if he was the one or if he was backside. On a concept, loved his intentionality in the game. He kind of said something to me like that during the game, midway through the game, like, yeah, we're back. And that was before, I think, his 2 touchdown drives. So just him even playing with that confidence, communicating that, gives me a lot of confidence. So, yeah.
You haven't lost 3 games in a row since 2019 as a starter. What do you attribute that to with this organization being able to handle adversity and bounce back?
Just being resilient. Been through a lot in my life, a lot worse than losing some games. Understanding how to respond from that definitely prepares you to how to respond from some losses, the media, the scrutiny. Control what I can control. Simple as that. And as I've told y'all before, I'm guarantee I'm my worst critic. Nobody's probably writing anything that I wouldn't say is fair to an extent. It's about just focusing on what I control, focus on this locker room, leading these guys, keeping the message right here within this building of we control what we go out there and our production and what we put on the tape and who we are. It is what it is. We're 3-4 right now. We got an opportunity to get back even this week, and we'll worry about the week after that when that comes.
Dak, your Thursday night meetings with McCarthy, what have been the big tasks y'all have been trying to solve with those this season that you might not get in here?
What do you mean?
Thursday night meetings
Yeah,
with McCarthy, those still a thing this year, I assume.
Yeah.
Are there any tasks in those meetings that y'all are trying to address or get solved in those meetings that you wouldn't have time to do during the week maybe?
No, I mean, I think if anything, it's just a discussion of what we've done throughout the week, how we want to get into the game, potentially why he's going to try to get the run game going or why this is going to happen. No, it's just another opportunity for us to communicate and get on the same page.
You talked last week about the communication being better, and then you guys opened the game with communication breakdowns early in the drive. And Mike talked today about poor walkthroughs again. I mean, why is this happening?
He said we had poor walkthroughs?
He said he had a poor walkthrough yesterday or today.
Oh, okay. Communication. To me, it's about, you've got to take this work home. And as much as, leading this building, do what I can, young players. It was poor. I don't know if I'd quite say poor, but it damn sure wasn't to our standard. Damn sure wasn't as good as these last few have been this morning. I'm sure he was alluding to, but it's this game plan that we've created this week, taking it home, and then coming back today. And guys got to study. Guys you got to do some work outside of this. And I don't know if it's having a young team as a leader, try to put my fingerprint on it, help them out, do whatever I can. But guys got to just step up, and I think that's where I think I've alluded to in weeks before about being a pro. That's what being a pro about. It's not just in the time that you're here doing the things that you're asked, but it's making sure that when you leave and you come back, you didn't miss a beat and you did some things to make sure that not only you're better, but this unit's better in that time.
Okay, thanks, Dak.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dak.